expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
To be successful, you have to have your heart in your business and your business in your heart. With this quote from Thomas Watson Sr., I say to you, time is precious, time is money, and this is the time for Money Talk on Atlantic Television Network. On ATN Business today, Nigeria secures loan from African Export-Import Bank. On transportation, federal government inaugurates Lagos-Kano rail line. On the global markets, United States futures, oil prices rise in bullish trends. And artificial intelligence. United States antitrust enforcers to investigate Microsoft, Nvidia, and OpenAI. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the big business city of Port Harcourt. This is the network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economy sector of our society to our discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of the viewers the business, financial, and economic activities from all strata of society. Its delivery is accentuated through the various stock exchanges across the world, news about government, economic activities, private sector business activities, laced with expert opinions, stakeholder analysis, and correspondence reports. By the end of this show, you can be rest assured of being informed accurately of financial activities all around the world. I remain your host, Raymond Ken Mbata, and now let's take that short break for commercials, and when we return, we'll reel out the details for today. Please stay tuned.
From the land, across the ocean, to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
It is my pleasure to welcome you back to ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. And now let's go into market reports, local and international business news for today. The African Export and Import Bank on Thursday announced an additional disbursement of $925 million under the syndicated $3.3 billion crude oil-backed prepayment facility sponsored by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Arranged and coordinated by Afrexim Bank, the accordion arrangement saw the rising of a combined total of $925 million from a consortium of crude oil off-taker lenders, including but not limited to the Oando Group, and Sahara Energy Resource Limited. Afrexim Bank acted as development efforts, the bank stated in a statement posted on its website on Thursday. This announcement follows the success of the first accordion tranche of the $3.3 billion facility. In December 2023, the project received funding commitments totaling $2.25 million. And in ATN business, we are hoping for that $2.2 million on your advert placements, bookings, commercials, and you can connect with us to make that big money and watch us on our ATN socials on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Moving on, analysts say that the increase in fraudulent exercise and activities among youths was a result of unemployment across the country. Speaking on Atlantic Blowout, a socio-political analyst, Deima George, said that the educational curriculum and the current state of the nation is not encouraging to provide gainful employment opportunities for the youths. Let's listen to him.
We cannot ignore the fact that there is high level of unemployment in our country. High level of unemployment in our country. Many of our youths are excluded from developments. There are no opportunities out there, or very limited opportunities out there for young people. So you can imagine someone who has spent 4 years in the university and graduated and can't have a job, or can't find a job, or can't be gainfully employed. A lot of times the politicians will say skills and not job. But how do you get the skills? You need to be trained.
Deima George, of the EFCC, arrested 100 suspected internet fraudsters at different locations of Enugu State during its early morning sting operations following actionable intelligence about suspected activities of an organized syndicate of internet fraudsters operating from different locations in the state. The Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry on Thursday commented on the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for the infrastructure development in the FCT since assuming office. ACCI also called on the minister to extend the initiative to the Idu Industrial District of Abuja, where many industrial firms in the FCT run their businesses. ACCI President Chief Emeka Obegolu, in a statement issued by the Chamber's Media Strategy Officer, Olayemi John Mensah, he commended the minister for his strides in advancing infrastructural development in Abuja, but stressed that industries were also looking forward for such in their domains, while recognizing the Idu Industrial District as a significant business hub in the FCT and the cornerstone of the region's industrialization vision. Obegolu emphasized the crucial role it plays in fostering manufacturing technology, employment, commerce, industry, and sustainable growth within the FCT. He underscored the pressing need for government attention and intervention to provide essential infrastructural amenities such as good roads, water, public transport, and electricity in the Idu Industrial District. Obegolu explained that these improvements were vital to the facilitating seamless commercial operations for businesses in the area. We anticipate a significant transformation of the Idu Industrial Park that aligns with the overarching vision for FCT, promoting economic growth and prosperity for the city. We assure Barrister Wike of our highest esteem and look forward to be continued collaboration in driving sustainable development and economic prosperity within the Federal Capital Territory, the ACCI president stated. The federal government has inaugurated the rail line connecting Lagos to Kano State following the completion of its rehabilitation. The Minister of Transportation, Saidu Alkali, disclosed this on his X, formerly Twitter, handle on Thursday. I am delighted to announce to Nigerians that today, June 6, 2024, the federal government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be officially launching the reopening of this corridor for freight. The minister said, according to Alkali, this significant railroad route will create numerous opportunities for businesses and facilitate the movement of import and export goods between these crucial regions in the country. The president has consistently demonstrated his commitment to providing assistance and support for any initiatives that aim to improve the transportation sector in the country. We are confident that if the future governments adopt the same forward-thinking political dedication showed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we can realize the country Nigeria we aspire to. We may recall that during our regular project inspection last month, I mentioned that we plan to resume freight services on the old narrow carriage gauge rail line from Lagos to Kano in June after completing rehabilitation, he remarked. He further detailed that the government had conducted a trial run moving import containers from Apapa Port in Lagos to Dala Inland Dry Port in Kano. We successfully transported numerous 40-foot containers from Lagos to Kano in just a few days. This freight rail line testing, spanning a distance of 1,132 kilometers, had approximately 5 locomotive driver changing stations at Ibadan, Offa, Mokwa, Mina, and Kaduna Junction. Through the Nigerian Railway Corporation, we have implemented a regular inspection mechanism to prevent potential vandalism of rail tracks, including the removal of clips and fish plates, he added. After over 60 years of flaring gas from oil fields, the federal government on Thursday commissioned the 300 million standard cubic feet gas gathering facility in Kwale, Delta State. The gas gathering hub, constructed by Nedo Gas Development Company Limited in partnership with Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, was commissioned by the Minister of Petroleum Resources in charge of gas, Ekperipe Ekpo. Our correspondent reports that the gas gathering hub was born out of the stranded nature of the associated gas resources in OML 56 producer, as there was no evacuation pipeline to link gas resources to the Nigerian gas pipeline network from which such gas could be monetized. According to materials made available to our correspondents at the event, the project aimed at eradicating gas flaring and converting environmental pollutants into products of value. The facility would contribute about $240 million annually to Nigeria's gross domestic product (GDP) within the first 4 years through the trunkline tariffs, liquid product sales to off-takers, and other infrastructural tariffs. It will provide a proximal location for gas producers in the cluster to deliver their gas resources via pipeline connections with distances ranging from 3 kilometers of Ebendo to 21 kilometers of Masogo. Speaking, the Executive Secretary of NCDMB, Felix Ogbe, said that he was excited to be at the occasion, which he said answered some of the questions bugging the minds of many industry enthusiasts on whether Nigeria is serious about the flares out program and delivering on the COP26 commitments on reducing emissions. Ogbe answered in the affirmative, saying Nigeria at COP26 committed to achieving net zero by 2060. According to him, the Kwale gas gathering facility project was designed to monetize Nigerian gas from fields through gas gathering, compression, injection, and metering infrastructure. The Kwale gas gathering facility is tied to the Nigerian gas infrastructure-owned 48-inch OB3 gas trunk line. It allows companies in the area to end routine flares and gather and inject the gas for economic uses and to reduce flaring, Ube explained. The chairman of NEDO Gas, Mr. Emeka Enne, expressed satisfaction that the project was completed despite all initial odds. While describing the facility as a modular project, Enne said it could be replicated in over 100 gas flaring sites in the country. Declaring the facility open for business, the gas minister called on others in the oil and gas industry to come up with new ideas and help in transforming flared gas into valuable products. The press reports that gas valued at $1.9 billion was flared in Nigeria between 2020 and 2024, according to the Nigerian Gas Flare Tracker. The Nigerian Gas Flare Tracker stated that during the period under review, 595.1 million standard cubic feet of gas were flared in Rivers, Delta, Imo, Edo, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Anambra, Abia, and Lagos states. The World Bank describes gas flaring as the burning of natural gas associated with oil extraction. And moving on, the International Monetary Fund has predicted that Nigeria's economy will reach $1.85 trillion by 2029 in purchasing power parity terms. This forecast suggests a significant growth trajectory for the country's economy over the next 5 years. According to the IMF data obtained by the press, Nigeria's gross domestic product in PPP terms has been steadily increasing from $1.36 trillion in 2023 to $1.852 trillion in 2029. GDP is the most commonly used single measure of a country's overall economic activity. PPP is a theory that relates changes in the exchange rates to changes in price levels between countries, allowing for more accurate international comparisons of economic data. The data shows a consistent growth trend with a notable increase of 5.5% expected in 2029. The fund also predicted Nigeria's share of global GDP based on PPP to reach 0.78% by 2029. This represents a slight increase from 0.77% in 2023, indicating a steady growth trajectory for the country's economy. And the data suggests that Nigeria's economy is gradually expanding, albeit slowly, but is expected to continue this trend over the next 5 years. The country's share of the global GDP has remained relatively stable, fluctuating between 0.775% and 0.778% from 2020. Reforms and initiatives have contributed to the country's economic growth. The trend of Nigeria's GDP in PPP terms over the past few years indicates a steady recovery and growth. In 2024, the country's GDP in PPP terms stood at $1.44 trillion, increasing to $1.51 trillion in 2025 and $1.587 trillion in 2026. The growth continues in 2027 with a GDP of $1.67 trillion and $1.759 trillion in 2028. The IMF's prediction of Nigeria's economic growth is a positive sign for the country's future, indicating the potential for increased economic prosperity and development, Israel noted. And news from the Senate has come that they have commenced debates on the bill to establish the National Animal Husbandry and Ranches Commission. The legislation seeks to address the prolonged conflict between farmers and herders, advocating for a nationwide ban on open grazing and the establishment of ranches. The proposed legislation, which was sponsored by Senator Titus Terenga, representing Benue Northwest, sought to control and regulate cattle rearing and ranching business across the country. The bill specifically proposes that ranches should be established in pastoralist states without forcing it in other states that do not have pastoralist communities. Let's take a listen.
That erupt from pastoralists and farmers' interaction, elected representatives of the people. We cannot afford to look on while the country burns into ashes as a result of violent clashes between sedentary farmers and nomadic herders. Doing so would amount to abdication of our statutory and leadership responsibilities. The menace of farmers and herders crisis can easily be cured through a legislative therapy banning open grazing in Nigeria.
However, Senator Kawu Somalia, in his contribution, and some northern senators has called for extra caution in passing the bill, given its trail of controversies in the past. Supporting the consideration of the bill, other lawmakers believe that the proposed commission, if established, would manage the farmers and herders crisis.
But going by this bill, it will compound our crisis in Nigeria. Some people close their eyes on what is going on or what lead herders to go against farmers. There is so many issues which we need to attend. Mr. President, we used to see where herders and their cattle are pursuing, killing them, destroying their property. Political leaders, the political class, I would like you to look at that. Who is the current senator of FCT? She is a Yoruba native. She's a Yoruba person, but she has won election here in FCT. Nobody told her to go back to her state. I, for one, I won my election in Tarauni constituency, my first election to come to the National Assembly in 1999, from Kano Central, but I'm from Kano North. Nobody told me to go back to Kano North. So why do you now tell herders to go back to their state?
Tigran Gambayan, who was accused of illegal cryptocurrency trading in Nigeria. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, said the trial was being conducted according to Nigerian law. A statement signed by his media aide, Rabiu Ibrahim, said that due process has been followed at all stages and prosecutors are confident in their case based on the evidence gathered, adding that Binance will have the opportunity to defend itself against the severe financial crimes charges. The minister confirmed that Binance had been provided with consular access and all necessary care in line with diplomatic protocols and the rule of law. The federal government's reaction came after the United States of America's lawmakers requested President Joe Biden to expedite the release of the Binance executive, Tigran Gambayan, who is being detained in Nigeria for over 3 months on allegations of money laundering and tax evasion. The Nigerian Content and Development and Monitoring Board said it has unveiled the $300 million intervention fund deposited in the Bank of Industry and has yielded a $30 million interest from loans given to the 70 oil and gas investors. A statement from the board said that plans to introduce some changes that will enhance the Nigerian Content Intervention Fund and increase the fund's impact and efficiency have been released. And the fund is a portion of the Nigeria Content Development Fund, which was set up by the Section 104 of the Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act, adding that it has set 1% deduction from every contract awarded in the upstream sector of the Nigerian oil and gas industry. This is coming after the Minister of Petroleum Resources for Oil, Heineken Lukbobiri, said that the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, under the watch of its former Executive Secretary, Simbi Wabote, took about $350 million to the Bank of Industry to give loans to investors, alleging that the fund was mismanaged with 90% non-performing loans. During the quarterly engagement forum held with the Bank of Industry in Lagos, the Executive Secretary, Felix Ogbe, confirmed that the NCI fund has, since its inception, played a crucial role in transforming the Nigerian oil and gas industry by providing essential financial support, and had also empowered numerous Nigerian companies and fostered local capacity development while promoting sustainable growth.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Good to have you back on ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. Now let's breeze through the rest of our stories. And don't forget, we are on StarTimes channel 194 and you can view us live on YouTube. Let's go into the market reports. At the backdrop of sustained inflationary pressures, companies have reported 28.8% year-on-year increase in their cost of sale for the year ended December 31st, 2023. Nigerians, as well as companies operating in the country, have been battling with several adverse macroeconomic issues, especially inflationary pressure, high energy costs, and foreign exchange crisis, amongst others, which have now combined to spike companies' operating costs. Some of the leading companies, Pressmen Tract, numbering 20, posted 5.37 trillion naira in their combined cost of sales during the year, compared to 4.17 trillion naira in the same period in 2022. The companies are Bua Cement, Lafarge Africa PLC, Dangote Cement PLC, Flour Mills Nigeria PLC, Honeywell Flours Mills PLC, Mecure Industries PLC, Guinness Nigeria PLC, Champion Breweries PLC, International Breweries PLC, May and Baker PLC, Unilever Nigeria PLC, and others are Nestle Nigeria PLC, Nascon Allied Industries PLC, Presco PLC, Cadbury Nigeria PLC, Naimet Pharmaceuticals Nigeria PLC, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, Fitsin Healthcare PLC, Nigerian Breweries PLC, and Bua Foods PLC. Press findings from the company's financial statements show that, with the exception of Naimet Pharmaceuticals PLC, which has achieved a 36.2% decline in its cost, others recorded varying degrees of increases. Two fast-moving consumer goods manufacturing giants, Bua Foods and Unilever Nigeria PLC, recorded the biggest increase as their costs rose by 64.2% to 468.98 billion naira and 61.4% to 67.86 billion naira respectively, followed by Dangote Cement with a 52% increase to 1.01 trillion naira. Others in the top 5 category are Bua Cement with a 39.1% increase to 276.04 billion naira, Fitsin Healthcare 36.4% to 31.98 billion naira, Cadbury Nigeria PLC 32.7% to 63.04 billion naira, Flour Mills Nigeria PLC 1.36 trillion naira. Analyzing the impact of rising inflation and volatility in the foreign exchange market, economists at the PricewaterhouseCoopers (PwC) said that the twin macroeconomic challenges could drive up production costs and impact negatively on firms' performance. In a Nigeria economic outlook for August 2023, the firm cautioned on the high costs incurred by companies, saying, To optimize costs across value chains, companies should conduct thorough analysis across value chain. For overhead costs, they should examine benefits versus pay and consider greater segmentation of rewards, implement a hiring freeze, and improve visibility of non-payroll expenses. Streamlining organizational design to eliminate duplication and reprioritization of non-core work are also crucial. In brand marketing, a marketing audit should be conducted to enhance cost transparency, and marketing campaigns with high return on investment should be prioritized while managing supply issues by reducing promotion frequency without compromising depth. Lastly, in total supply chains, identifying alternate sourcing locations to minimize risk and cost, aligning procurement across business divisions, and optimizing spending through global and local deals are essential actions. And the Acting Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commissions, Dr. Emomotimi Agama, has called on relevant stakeholders in the capital market to join in the Commission's fight to reduce unclaimed dividends. He also seeks their support in containing all forms of market infractions. And speaking during a meeting with the Association of Security Dealing Houses of Nigeria, ASHON. In Abuja, Agama described unclaimed dividend as a monster in the capital markets which must be tackled swiftly. He, however, assured that every unresolved issue ranging from unclaimed dividends, which he calls the big elephant in the room, and other related market issues will be addressed in the shortest time possible. He stated that we cannot continue to do a thing in a particular way and expect a different result. You need to strengthen the institutions under you and know who you are leaving behind to continue the legacy. In his remarks, the chairman of ASHON, Mr. Sam Onukwe, applauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for appointing Agama as the Director General and the 3 executive commissioners, describing it as indeed a renewed hope for Nigerian capital market and the economy. Onukwe expressed his belief that Dr. Agama and his team will bring their outstanding wealth of experience to bear in the growth and development of the capital market and the advancement of Nigerian economy as a whole. He said, in my lifetime, this is the first time the board of the SEC is chosen from the system, emphasizing that it is an opportunity for the team to chart a new course for the capital market. And moving on, a global leader in enterprise applications and business artificial intelligence, SAP, has disclosed that by 2030, the artificial intelligence market will generate $826 billion. This was disclosed at the SAP Innovation Day in Johannesburg, where discussions on how businesses can shift away from stagnation and ignite a new wave of innovation and growth to drive their successes. And speaking at the event, the Chief Business Officer of EMEA SAP, Hans-Peter Fuelle, said that businesses today operate in an environment characterized by volatility and uncertainty, with unpredictability exerting significant pressure on revenue, profit margins, and supply chains. In her opening remarks, SAP Southern Africa Managing Director Koliwe Makoliso said that the vital question for African enterprises was how can there be a transition from merely keeping the lights on to building a competitive edge despite economic headwinds. She answered that by investing in continuous innovation that leverages technologies such as artificial intelligence and cloud, organizations can drive sustainable business growth, optimize and connect end-to-end processes, leverage data for valuable insights, and stay ahead of competitors. Makoliso noted that the excitement for AI amongst African enterprises stems from its potentially transformative impact on all industries. Business AI is gaining traction throughout the continent thanks to a growing list of practical applications that help companies solve challenges and accelerate innovation and drive greater efficiency. With the support of a vibrant ecosystem of expert partners and the growing maturity of cloud and business AI solutions, African enterprises can then supercharge their innovation efforts like African enterprises under significant pressure. As a result, enterprises are turning their focus to how technologies such as AI and cloud can help them overcome challenges and increase the rate of innovation, and the rapid adoption of AI is creating unprecedented opportunities in digital literacy, the creation of new products, improvements to services, and greater productivity. This is helping African organizations transform how they do business and how they interact with their employees and how they engage with customers. Innovation has become essential to the survival of businesses as the accelerating impact of disruptive forces such as technology, climate change, geopolitical upheaval, and economic headwinds lead to constrained growth and uncertainty. She stated that according to Accenture Technology Vision, 93% of executives agree that with rapid technological advancements, it was more important for organizations to innovate with purpose. And on to the global market. Asian stocks were mixed on Friday after a steady Thursday on Wall Street as markets anticipated the release of key U.S. jobs data later in the day. The U.S. futures and oil prices rose, and Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 edged 0.1% lower. And on Friday, data showed household spending in April was up 0.5% year-on-year, and this was the first increase since February 2023, and is a key indicator of assessing the country's economy as central banks officials prepare to hold a policy meeting next week. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index declined 0.6%, and while the Shanghai's Composite Index was up 0.2%, as China's trade data showed that exports in May rose faster than expected at 7.6% compared to a year earlier, while imports were weaker than market forecasts. Australia's S&P AXS 200 climbed 0.5%, and South Korea's Kospi surged 1.2%. The S&P 500 barely budged on Thursday, a day after leaping to a record high for the 25th time this year. It dipped less than 0.1%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average added 0.2%, while the Nasdaq Composite slipped 0.1% after hitting its own record. Big Lots stumbled 18.2% after reporting a larger loss for the latest quarter than expected. The retailer said it missed targets for the sales because its customers are continuing to pull back on spending, particularly for things that aren't essentials. Stock for another retailer, Five Below, fell 10.6%, and its profits and revenue last quarter fell short of analysts' expectations. And CEO Joel Anderson said that struggles for the company's core lower-income customers dragged down results, even as it saw strong growth from higher-income customers. Many retailers and other companies have been highlighting a split between their customers, making lower and higher incomes. Inflation is particularly hurting those on the lower end who are struggling to keep up with the cost of living that's still rising, even as inflation is not as fast as before. That threatens to crack up a linchpin that has kept the U.S. economy out of a recession despite high interest rates. Strong spending by U.S. households. Another factor that's helped U.S. consumers spend